Good morning, students, and today we are going to continue our lesson unit 12 in English grade 9. And this video is specially made for my students who are studying at Burani Hills and Kodai High School. And our today's topic is about present perfect. Before we start talking into detail about these grammatical items, just let me ask you some questions. So what is present perfect, and how do we form present perfect, and when do we use it? So the first one, let's start with forming present perfect. So there are two main things we need to form present perfect. So the first one, we need auxiliary verb, have and has. And have used with I, you, we, they. So basically have used with plural subjects, and has used with singular subjects, like such as she, he, and it. And the second thing we need to form present perfect is past participle. What is past participle? Actually, we can call it in the short verb 3. Let's look at one example altogether. For example, she has worked in the office for 6 years. So she is the singular subject. That's why we use has, not have. And then work, adding ed, it becomes past participle. Here. So now let's look at the form into detail. So actually there are 3 forms of present perfect. The first one is positive forms. So we can look at these 3 examples altogether. So let's read. I have already eaten breakfast. She has seen that movie before. We have studied English for many years. So have used with I, and then this one is past participle, or we can say verb 3. So it is conjugated from the verb eat. Okay? And second example, she has. She is the singular subject, and then we need to use with has. And sin conjugated from the verb see. And last one, we. We is the plural subject, and we need to use have. And studied is conjugated from verb study. Okay. So now let's look at the second form, which is negative forms. So we can form present perfect negatively by just adding not. So remember, nots will stay in between auxiliary verbs and verb 3. So now let's read one example altogether. She has not used a cash register before. So here we just add not in the middle, in between auxiliary verb has and verb 3, and this sentence becomes negative form. And the rest, I think you can read by yourself here, very easy. So now let's look at the last form. So the last form is called interrogative form, or we can say question form in short. So now look at the last form. So what is the difference between positive, negative, and interrogative? So mainly the difference is here we just switch or reverse the auxiliary verb to the left, so it stands before subject and the subject stands after auxiliary verb, and then verb 3 or verb participle stands after subject, and the rest is just complement. Okay, so now let's read example together. Has she worked for that company in May? So here this is auxiliary verb, we switch with the subject. And another one is have we served the food? And this is also the reversal of the subject and the auxiliary verb as well. fact is that, so we basically use constructions with this tense. So we can use it like here. So I have, we can shorten it like I've. You have, also constructed to you've. We have, with, and the rest I think you can do by yourself. And also negative form, we can also construct this form as well. So I have not, we can shorten it to I haven't. You have not, you haven't. We have not, we haven't. And what about he has not? We can construct it to he hasn't. Okay, so whichever form you feel comfortable with, just use it. And let's see example. I have lived in Cambodia for 2 years, and the second sentence is a constructed form. So I've lived in Cambodia for 2 years. So you see how it works here. So now let's practice changing verb form. So here are the verbs that we are going to practice changing the forms, and the first column is verb 1, or we can call it base forms, and this group is verb 2, or we can call it verb past tense, and the last one is verb 3, or we can call it verb participle. So here be conjugated to 3 different parts, like is, she, and are, and verb 2 are was or were. So was we use with singular subject, he, she, it, and were are you, we, they. And verb 3 here we change to been. Okay, remember, be, was or were, and been. Eat, ate, eaten. Have, had, go, went, gone. See, saw, seen. Study, studied, studied. So verb 2 and verb 3 of the verb study are the same. So remember this. Sleep, slept, slept. So still the same.